Good morning. I want to thank you, our customers and partners, for taking the time to join us today. Welcome to the Hybrid and Multi-Cloud event. Today, we will share Azure's vision for hybrid and multi-cloud and how our customers are taking advantage of our technology. We will go deep into the tech in the live sessions and on-demand content to show you how you can start using Azure Hybrid and Multi-Cloud today. Before I get started, I want to thank our longtime partner, Intel, for sponsoring the event. Software and technology are infused in every part of our lives, at home, at work, at school, in our cars, in our pockets. To meet these growing customer demands and to stay competitive, every company will become a digital company. This is happening across every industry, with software-powered, digital-born disruptors placing pressures on companies of every size to accelerate their digital transformation. And we are here to help. Azure's mission is to be the world's computer. As the world's computer, we want to empower organizations to build and transform through technology on your terms, wherever you are and whatever your need. And we want to make this simple for our customers. In reality, we know our customers' environments are anything but simple. Customer environments are diverse and complex. Their needs are ever evolving. We know about 90% of enterprises depend on a hybrid approach, and 93% of enterprises have a multi-cloud strategy. A thing that has really resonated when talking to customers is the breadth and diversity of apps and infrastructure. Thousands of apps running in the data centers and a real desire to modernize this with cloud technologies. Multiple teams are using different development tools, languages, and frameworks, as well as approaches like open source, Kubernetes, and DevOps. It leaves customers with open questions on how best to manage, govern, and secure this, while simultaneously enabling innovation and agility. I think it's clear now that customers will have a hybrid environment with workloads that span on-premises, Azure, and other clouds. Today, we are at peak centralization with public cloud, and we need to move to more ubiquitous and decentralized compute power with decentralized control. Regulatory and data sovereignty are top of the list driving these requirements. This is common in highly regulated industries, such as financial services, healthcare, and government. Some workloads, especially edge workloads, require low latency, driving a desire to keep compute capabilities close to the workload. And finally, many companies have significant on-premises investments that they want to maximize, where the cost of the cloud is currently prohibitive. We're also seeing the cloud business patterns apply to these requirements, where customers are looking to move from CapEx to OpEx with a hardware-as-a-service business model, coupled with a managed service offering, so the customer has a single vendor to supply, manage, operate, and service their edge solution. From the beginning, we have been designing Azure to meet our customers' needs, no matter how simple or complex. As I mentioned, the future world will be a hybrid and multi-cloud environment with workloads that span on-premise, Azure, and other clouds, but with a posture and app pattern that is cloud first. I think about this across a full spectrum, from sensor to server, silicon to service, from what happens in the data center to what happens in your operations at the edge. Azure offers unique hybrid and multi-cloud capabilities that give customers the flexibility to innovate anywhere. It starts with Azure Arc. Azure Arc enables you to standardize visibility, operations, and compliance across a wide range of resources and locations by extending the Azure control plane. Enabled by Azure Arc, you can bring Azure services to any infrastructure, including other clouds, so you can take advantage of Azure's benefits everywhere, such as scalability, fast deployment, and always up-to-date cloud innovation. You can build Azure-consistent new cloud infrastructure in your own data center with Azure Stack. So you can modernize your data center and run cloud-native applications on premises while taking advantage of existing investments and meeting regulatory requirements. You can also extend AI to edge devices with Azure IoT, so you can run machine learning and advanced analytics close to the users and the data. This is our portfolio of capabilities to support your hybrid and multi-cloud strategy. Now let's dive into the steps it takes for you to successfully adopt a hybrid and multi-cloud strategy. First, we start with a single pane of glass. We know there will be workloads that can't migrate to the cloud. Our strategy is to support customers with a single pane of glass to organize and govern their entire estate of apps and infrastructure. As I mentioned, we do this with Azure Arc. Once you extend the control plane with Azure Arc, you can use a set of highly valuable Azure services for governance, security, and monitoring over your environment. With Azure Arc, right from the Azure portal, customers can deploy a common set of Kubernetes configurations to their clusters, wherever they are, consistently and at scale. We support Rancher, Red Hat OpenShift, as well as our own vertical offering with AKS on Azure Stack HCI. This ensures that apps are deployed and configured consistently from source control at scale. Next, Arc enables you to bring native Azure services that are Kubernetes-based to the edge. We are designing our Azure apps and services to run locally in your environment. With Azure Arc, you can run first-party Azure services such as Azure SQL, PostgreSQL, application services, and Azure Machine Learning anywhere, data centers, edge, and multi-cloud. This then pulls through your infrastructure with our hybrid data center and edge with Azure Stack HCI. While we'll make sure that Arc works with any infrastructure, we do have a point of view with a verticalized offering from Microsoft, which resonates with those customers who are looking for simplicity in who they work with. Azure Stack HCI is our hyper-converged infrastructure operating system from Microsoft. It's delivered as an Azure hybrid service in partnership with our vibrant OEM ecosystem. And you can manage it with whatever is most familiar to you, whether that is local administration using Windows Admin Center or cloud management using the Azure portal. The hyper-converged category is seeing a lot of growth, enabling customers to move to generic hardware that's using software-defined techniques that transform it into a compute, storage, or networking appliance, and saving customers the costs of having to buy dedicated hardware. Finally, you can wrap all of this up when you extend it using AI to edge devices with Azure IoT, so you can run machine learning and advanced analytics closest to the users and the data. We are driving a large amount of innovation here, and I want to tell you about the brand new developments that are coming your way. I am thrilled to announce, as part of the Azure Data Services, Azure SQL enabled by Azure Arc will be generally available on July 30th, 2021. This new offering from Azure SQL can run on any Kubernetes in your data centers, at the edge, and in a multi-cloud environment. You'll get all the Azure innovations on this evergreen SQL that has no end of support and is only available from Azure, plus all the cloud benefits like elastic scale, built-in automation, and a cloud billing model that helps to manage costs efficiently. This truly changes the paradigm on how services for on-premises data workloads are delivered. You can expect continuous release of new capabilities with Azure SQL, so you are always on the cutting edge for all your data footprint across the entire estate. I also want to recap the most recent announcements we made at Build last week. We announced general availability of AKS on Azure Stack HCI. This is Microsoft's own Kubernetes cluster that comes with Azure Arc integration built in, and that is always up to date. So now you can have VMs and containers on Azure Stack HCI, where the containers are fully consistent with Azure, meaning you can take the same containers you've been deploying on AKS and deploy them on AKS on Azure Stack HCI, and they just work. Azure Arc-enabled application services is another really exciting announcement that we made last month. You can innovate faster by using Azure's suite of application services such as App Service, Functions, Logic Apps, API management, and Event Grid on top of Kubernetes across your hybrid and multi-cloud environments. This gives true flexibility for developers to use an Azure PaaS service to build their apps and deploy them anywhere. And these innovations are a result of a journey we've been on to deliver hybrid solutions to you. The Arc-enabled data services, application services, AKS on Azure Stack HCI join the hybrid capabilities that we have already announced. From Arc-enabled servers and Kubernetes that lets you manage Windows and Linux servers and Kubernetes clusters anywhere in a consistent way, to Azure Stack HCI, our hyper-converged infrastructure offering delivered as a service. And these are all in market, actively used by customers, and available for you to use today. Now that you've heard me talk about the technology, let's hear a little bit about where customers are and what they're thinking. Let me invite Corey Sanders to join us in his role as Corporate Vice President of Microsoft Solutions.
Thanks, Roanne. I get the chance to talk to customers every day, and I'm seeing customers of all sizes and industries take a hybrid and multi-cloud approach. One thing they all have in common, they need these solutions to be simple to adopt and easy to manage. They need them to be predictable and integrated. So it's not a surprise we already have thousands of customers building hybrid and multi-cloud solutions with Azure, a cloud that was designed to be hybrid from day one. Let's take a look at 3 of these customers a bit more closely. EY is a world leader in professional services and one of the largest accounting firms in the world. And to them, app development and technology services are very important to ensure business is conducted efficiently, securely, and in compliance with local and regional regulations. They need to provide a highly standardized level of service to customers no matter where they operate across the globe. So for decades, EY teams developed many of the thousands of applications the company now relies on to operate. And they are developing and deploying these applications with microservices architecture on Kubernetes in Azure or in their own data centers. And historically, it's been a lot of work to manage the company's existing on-premises infrastructure, local data centers, and public deployments. Now, with Azure Arc, EY can use and organize all of their Kubernetes clusters around the world in the Azure portal. Azure Arc helps them run software in compliance with various local regulations, all while efficiently providing key functionalities, operations, and governance, and even sending updates from a centrally managed location. Specifically, they're using Azure Policy and Azure Arc together to configure any cluster that is onboarding. And as it onboards, GitOps configurations kick in and the cluster pulls all the required security integrations and baseline standards. Next, a very different industry is the Siemens Healthineers. They sell and service diagnostic equipment like MRI scanners, CT scanners, X-ray machines, and ultrasound machines to hospitals around the world. Siemens Healthineers built software applications that run on these diagnostic machines. To get more features, flexibility, and scalability, they run these apps in microservices architectures on local Kubernetes clusters. With Azure Arc, Siemens Healthineers can deploy and manage applications on these Kubernetes clusters across tens of thousands of locations. It can also monitor and update and help secure all applications straight from Azure. By controlling Kubernetes clusters from Azure, developers can bring their own familiar tools and skills to wherever they're needed. They organize and view all their clusters from Azure and configure them uniformly, basically a single touch configuration for worldwide deployment. With Azure Arc and modern cloud practices, Siemens Healthineers gained the ability to centrally code and deploy software updates to thousands of locations at scale and with agile velocity. One example of where this really mattered, Siemens Healthineers developed an algorithm that could diagnose COVID-19 when running on their diagnostic equipment. With the traditional way of developing and deploying software, it would have taken months and a lot of resources to update all the machines running their software. But with Azure Arc, they are able to do this much quicker, straight from Azure, meaning faster diagnosis for people to get the care that they need. And finally, SKF. SKF is the world-leading manufacturer for rotation tools and services, supporting reliable, efficient, and environmentally sound industrial operations. SKF chose to partner with Microsoft because Azure Hybrid Solutions cover the entire technology stack, from modern infrastructure to consistent applications and data management from edge to cloud. Rather than listen to me tell you all the exciting things about SKF, let's hear it directly from Victoria Van Kamp, CTO and President of SKF Technology.
SKF is a global company. We were founded in 1907 as a startup at the time. Our company was built on an innovation, the ball bearing, and that kind of bearing goes into machinery. But what we have realized the last few years is that our customers don't really want to buy ball bearings. They want their machinery to run. And that is something we can provide with our products and with the knowledge, and of course, with digital tools to make sure that that machine keeps healthy, keeps running, and does what it's supposed to do. Our new business model required different thinking when it came to technology. Of course, we have to produce the best, most quiet, perfect bearings still. That's a given. But we have to have consistent quality and produce globally at the lowest possible cost and quickly. And we need a digital solution that helps us do this. Partnering with Microsoft in our manufacturing has enabled us to do this in a flexible way, because running brownfield manufacturing also means that you have existing installations of all kinds of IT systems. You may not want them, but they're there. Microsoft is really flexible and open to work with partners so that we get a solution that works best for us. Because remember, what we want to do is produce that product in the end. We don't want to worry about IT solutions or the digital side of things.
Our challenge is that we have more than 100 factories, and we need to be able to provide them with an IT/OT platform that comes with speed, reliability, and low cost, while providing support for critical production systems. The decisive factor in selecting a hybrid cloud solution was to have a solution that supports more data-driven manufacturing. This shift means that we can look to employ cloud-native operating models where we execute workloads on premises at our factories. Azure Arc enabled data services together with other Azure hybrid services. Azure Edge services, such as Azure SQL Edge, are imperative components. It becomes fundamental to have highly available, scalable, and centrally managed data platforms. SQL is the very heart of the operations performance management in the factories of the future. Using Azure hybrid services together with automation tools like Terraform and other Azure management tools allow us to achieve the speed that we're looking for.
We have benefits at every single level of the organization. If we look at the shop floor, the collection of all this data will help us to improve the process and the product performance. At the management level, we will be able to have, let's say, real-time analysis to try to define the strategy and the footprint for the future.
When it comes to the Azure stack, what we see is actually up to 40% hard savings when it comes to the hardware compared to what we have been investing before. We actually are able to monitor the applications running inside the factory. This is something what will help us and gives us a lot of efficiency and cost savings as well. We also estimate that we will have up to 30% savings or reduction of OT-related downtimes of the machinery. Visualizations or reports are helping actually the operators to more quickly react on deviations on the shop floor. We want to come to the point that we are really proactive so that the operators can act before the actual deviation is happening. Preventive maintenance going towards predictive maintenance.
The ultimate goal is to have signals from bearings at our customer sites connecting directly with our manufacturing units, so the production or remanufacturing can start just in time.
We are striving for world-class manufacturing. Digitalization is one enabler on our journey towards world-class. There's a big benefit what we see to really optimize the entire value chain.
I must say I'm really impressed with how Microsoft has stepped up and understood manufacturing challenges. And I think that is really by listening to what your customers really need and want. So that's really good.
Thanks so much, Victoria. I love all these examples and could literally talk about hybrid and multi-cloud all day, every day. And sometimes I do, and I'm told to please stop. But at this point, we have a lot more to share with you. So I'm going to have to hand it back over to Roanne to finish up. Over to you, Roanne.
Thanks, Corey. Now, to bring all of this together, with Azure, we've built a comprehensive set of services you can run in hybrid and multi-cloud environments across all layers of the solution, the infrastructure, the control plane, and the services. You can extend the single control plane from Azure with Azure Arc. And if you're looking to modernize servers and storage, you can use Azure Stack HCI. We also know that you may have existing investments on other platforms such as VMware or other public clouds. And your existing assets can be servers, both physical and virtual, as well as Kubernetes clusters. With Azure Arc, you can easily govern and secure all of these resources right from Azure. Lastly, if you want to bring your favorite PaaS services to your on-premise and multi-cloud environments, you can run Arc-enabled data and application services on any Kubernetes cluster anywhere. Finally, we are excited that our partners are enthusiastic about hybrid and multi-cloud for the same reasons that we are. And we are working to build a thriving hybrid partner ecosystem. You can see a few here in various categories, from hardware to ISVs to service providers. And we will continue to build on this momentum to enable more partners as they are critical to our success and our customers' success. I am really excited about what's coming in the sessions today. We'll hear from Asad Khan about modernizing your data estate and the details about Arc-enabled data services. Gabe Monroy will talk to you about how you can write once, deploy anywhere with Azure App Services and Kubernetes. Jeremy Winter will cover how you can operate and govern your existing and new applications and IT resources. He'll also talk about securing your hybrid and multi-cloud environments. And Bernardo Caldas will talk about our hybrid data center and edge with Azure Stack.